Hello, this is Tony Blazer, back with another video for the Motocross Vault, and what this one's going to be is a short little rundown of my thoughts on round 2 at St. Louis. I loved last night's race. It was really exciting. Wasn't a whole lot of racing at the front. I think mostly most of the action was a little farther back than that. But overall, I think it was a good night. Good night for racing. I love the track. The track was really interesting. A little different design. The dirt, of course, typically is really good in St. Louis. But there was a lot of different rhythms. You saw guys going. Some guys were going, 2-2. Some guys were going 3-3-3. It's nice when you have some options there to basically give the guys an opportunity to pass, try and make something happen. You also saw several guys getting kind of aggressive in those like bold turns before those big doubles. Love those big crossover jumps. I think they're fun. I think it was a track that was conducive to good racing, and I think we saw that. My main takeaways from the event, I am super, super pumped for Kenny. I think that all of us, even if you're not really a Ken Roczen fan per se, we're happy for the guy to get a win. It's almost 3 years to the day since he had that terrible, terrible crash at A2 and broke his arm, and it was really great to see him get a win. I mean, I know he's had a couple of wins outdoors, but Supercross is where he had that bad crash. It's where basically his career was almost ended. So it's really, really great to see somebody like him, who seems like a real great ambassador for the sport, come back and be competitive at the front. I was picking him to win the week before at A1, and it didn't really work out. His bike setup or whatever was going on there, he had him off the pace a little bit, and this night he just grabbed the bull by the horns, got like a second place start right off the bat, passed Zach maybe on the first lap, maybe half a lap into the second lap. I can't remember. I think it was on the first lap, but he made a real aggressive pass before that big double, and then he just checked out, rode out front. It was a great, great win. Super excited for Ken. Loved his gear. By far the best gear of the night. I don't know what was all the gear last night. I'm not a big fan of black gear. And if you read my kind of race review I'm putting on Pulp MX, see, I was not a fan of most of the gear last night. It was a lot of black. Everybody was dressed like they were like a Navy SEAL or something. I don't know what was going on with that. A lot of, from all the manufacturers too, it wasn't like just all the Fox guys were in black. You had A-Star, you had Thor, you had Seven, they were all wearing it. It was weird. It was almost like a military appreciation thing or something. It was kind of a strange night. But in any case, I loved Kenny's gear. Kenny's gear was awesome. That was really kind of a 90s flair. I love the color. Really good looking stuff. My second takeaway, Barcia rode great. I was really impressed with him. I didn't realize he was ill. I guess he got whatever the creeping crud was that was going around last week. My speculation is perhaps they came down with Mookie fever. But in any case, apparently he was very ill, and you wouldn't have known to see him ride. I mean, he rode great. He didn't have the speed, I guess, to run down Roczen, but he kept him honest. He had the second best lap time in the main event, which was really impressive if he's feeling under the weather. I mean, on the podium, look, he was right ready to drop dead. So good for him. Great ride for Barcia. He's making me a believer. I don't know if he's gonna be able to keep it going. It's like I said, Barcia in the past has had these great races, and then something goes sideways, he crashes and hurts himself. But you never know. Maybe he's a new guy this year. I think Yamaha by now would have thought that he was going to be like the second guy to Aaron Plessinger, but Plessinger's not really getting it done. So Yamaha's lucky they have Barcia in their stable for sure. Third takeaway, Cooper Webb, kind of a bummer race. I really am. I'm hoping that it was just he was still feeling under the weather, and he just didn't seem to have it. His lap times in practice are never that amazing. Usually, I don't know if he ever has been fastest last year at any race, but he didn't seem to have it here again, and didn't show anything in the main. I think he got 13th or something. Definitely not what he needs to become a two-time champ. Of course, he could bounce back next week, but it is a little concerning. Hopefully, it was just the illness, and as soon as he feels better, he'll be back at the front. I guess the thing that's probably good for him is the guys that you would think of being as like his main title contenders are being fairly inconsistent too. Kenny won, but he got like a 6th last week. Tomac was a little better. He got like a 4th, I think. Came from way back, though. He had a bad start. Definitely riding better, but even coming to the pack, if they, from what little you see on TV, they look like Tomac's just mowing through these guys. He's not going through there like Stu or some of the other races I've seen where he's just like, holy crap, he's the fastest guy. He's methodically picking guys off and going to the front, but I haven't yet seen that crazy balls out Tomac speed that you expect. So with there being so much other inconsistency in the class, he's not that far out of the title, certainly. I don't think Barcia's going to go on a run here and rattle off 5 wins in a row or something and put it out of reach. I don't think anything like that's going to happen. I think currently Barcia has the points lead, and then Kenny's in second, and I think it's Cianciarulo and Also, Anderson tied for third. So the title chase is still well within reach. It's only well within reach. It's only 2 rounds in. So again, don't want to overreact. AC was kind of a bummer. Again, fastest guy all day. Won his heat race. Just did not seem to have the patience in the main. He had a pretty good start. I think it was 4th or 5th off the start, and then tried to push to the front. I guess his feeling probably was he thought, hey, I'm the fastest guy. I need to catch Kenny. But maybe he should have been a little more patient. Him and Zach had some history there. They got into it a couple years ago in the 250 class. And at that point, Zach had already been pushed around by Kenny, so I guess he wasn't having anything of it. So Osborne, when AC put that kind of aggressive pass on him, he came back and took him all up to the wall. He was probably lucky not to fall, but he ended up letting 2 guys go by. Eventually, he got Zach back. It was in 4th in the last lap. They didn't show the crash on TV, at least that I saw. But it didn't look like a big digger. He looked like just picking his bike up in a corner, but somehow he let 3 guys by. So I don't know what happened, but that was a major bummer for AC. He certainly had the speed to win, I think. He showed in his practice times, but maybe if he got the whole shot and checked out, he'd probably been okay. I don't know if he could have caught Kenny. Maybe it was Kenny's night, but maybe a second should have been in the cards if he had played a little more safe, been a little more methodical with it. Especially, I think, with Barcia being sick, if he just pressured him a little bit, maybe he could have got him. But anyway, ifs and buts were candy and nuts. Barcia's a rookie. Let's hope he had his fill of rookie mistakes at St. Louis. He can certainly look back and say, hey, if I'd played that differently, maybe it would have worked out differently for him. In the 250 class, I'd say very impressed with Faulkner's comeback. Loved his gear last night. He was wearing that gear I loved at A1. Good looking stuff. I thought he was going to get passed early on. It looked like he was, going to come under pressure from Cooper, but he ended up holding the lead. I guess maybe he was just tightened up a little bit and then pulled it back out at the end. But in any case, good win for Kawasaki. Good win for them over the Pro Circuit team. Way better than cutting the track last week for sure. On the Yamaha side, Justin Cooper kept the points lead. Good for him. Rode solid race in second. That's exactly what he needs to do. And his teammate Dylan Ferrandis, though, you got to feel for him a little bit. Bummer deal on that crash. Wasn't his fault. I think it was Mosman that cut over on him and nowhere he could go. These things happen at a race. If you don't get the whole shot, you don't get it right up front, especially in these rhythm lanes. People come over, things happen, and he definitely let himself get caught up in that, which is a bummer. I think he had the speed probably to win at any one of these races. Ferrandis is one of the fastest guys, but if you end up starting a lap down, he's pretty impressive considering I think he was, when he got up, the leader was coming up to lap him or just lapped him, and he got 12. So normally, if this is the 450 class, you say, 12's not going to torpedo you, but we got to remember the 250 is the only race half the races. So unless something happens to competitors or he goes on a massive tear here, it could be trouble for Ferrandis keeping that number 1 plate. Overall, I think, as I said, great event, great night of racing. I really loved it. It was definitely exciting to watch. Hopefully next week we'll have a little more passing at the front. Like I said, pretty much Roczen, he checked out and laid the wood down to everybody. But there was some stuff to watch behind him. And I think with such a deep field with all these guys still in it, I think we're going to have exciting racing every week. So hopefully A2 will be as good as these last 2 rounds were. So again, if you like this sort of thing, let me know. I'll keep doing them. This is Tony Blazer for the Motocross Vault. Peace.